welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and a quick look at Salute 52, which took place at the Excel Centre this last Saturday, and what a great day it was. So yeah, it's Monday after the Salute before, and I thought I'd do a quick video. I know everybody does their wrap-ups of the Salute show, and I thought it would be no different because Salute is one of those events that is earmarked in my calendar virtually at the beginning of every year. Every year we do a new family calendar with lots of pictures of what happened in the previous year, and one of the first things I circle is the Salute weekend, and everybody knows it in the family and everyone knows I go, and I've been going for a lot of years, back to when it was back at Kensington Town Hall, and I love it. It's one of my events, I think. Now, XL is the most soulless place in the world. Been there for work. I still go there for work from time to time for events. It's not the best place in the world to get to for me personally, but also not the best venue. But Salute itself is an amazing facility, amazing event, and hats off to the organisers of such an event. Now, talking to their new PR guy, Peter, who, and again, hats off to him. I work in PR, and I know it can be quite tough to do, but he did an amazing job with the show. First time running it and being involved in it, he said, and the buzz around the show was really, really good, and I think that equated into attendance very clearly. The hobby is in rude health in the UK, or in Europe generally. There were a lot of people from other parts of Europe who came in for Salute, but I think Peter said they sold out their first tranche of tickets and then had to do more, and ended up somewhere around 7,500 tickets sold, which is amazing. I think it's their best one they've had probably ever, certainly since after COVID, and it certainly felt like that. The buzz around the place, the number of people, crikey. I got there early. I was there about 9:45, 9 o'clock, because I was lucky enough to have a press pass and got in early to have a look around, and that was great. But just the number of people, just on the train coming into London, clearly I'm going, they're Wargamers, they're Wargamers, they're Wargamers. And somebody had said that they were queuing outside from about 8 o'clock in the morning to get in at 10. Amazing. And when the doors opened they opened just before 10. They organise it beautifully. They allow those with mobility problems in first to stop that wave of people coming in and knocking them over and getting in the way. So they allow people in first, and then they open it to everybody, and the charge around the room, it's like water going around all the different stalls and areas. And the first couple of hours of Salute was so busy. You'll see on some of the footage, I went around with my camera, and you'll see the difference between the morning and the afternoon in terms of attendance. But that was the thing I noticed the most, was generally after lunchtime at Salute, there's a tapering off of attendance. You get less and less people, and in fact, I've said to people before, if you're not there at the beginning, you're in no rush, go along after lunch, because you'll have a much better experience of the place. But this year there were more people hanging around at the end, and I was there till the show shut down this year, which is unusual for me. I generally have long gone down the pub by then. I had been to the pub before then anyway. But anyway, and there was still people around, people spending money, still people playing games. I think some of them had to be moved out before otherwise they would have been in there for the night. So hats off to all the organisers at Salute, all the committee people who run it. Peter, fantastic. Thank you very much for the pass, much appreciated. And congratulations, everybody involved, for a really, really good Salute. In terms of reflections on the day, overall, I was amazed. In fact, I can't remember who it was now, but I was talking to somebody about the attendance, and we were talking about how great it was to see the diversity of people there. I don't mean in ethnicity, that's a word, although that was definitely evident too. But also in the sort of age groups, you had, you know, older people like myself, you had a lot of younger people, a lot of kids, a lot of ladies, and that was really good to see. And you know, people have been saying for years, all these surveys come back about the hobby greying and getting older. You look around that convention, and it's in rude health, absolutely rude health, and people were spending money, which is great. A lot of the traders were very happy. Certainly ones I spoke to. You get the glitter artsy of the hobby. I spoke to the Perrys, I spoke to Lardy Rich, Paul Hicks and I had a quick chat before we both met at the door going in, and we're having a chinwag. I did try and get along to see him, but he seemed to be constantly busy. He was doing some sort of workshop on the footsore stand. Andy Hobday, I saw that. I mean, everybody was there. I'm not going to pick out any other names, but lots of people, and I got to speak to quite a few of them, and it was great. If I didn't, apologies. I tried to get around as much as I could, but it was great, and I think that's what Salute's so good at. Lot of the big boys go. You get all the major retailers there, although Griffin Beast weren't there this year, which I was a bit surprised by. But you get a lot of the retailers, you get a lot of people coming in from all around the place. You get a lot of launches time to go out around Salute time, because I think it is the biggest show in the UK and probably in Europe, I would suggest. Not quite the same size as some of the US shows yet. So yeah, definitely hobby seemed to be in a great place, looking at the attendance and looking at the people spending. A good variety of games. Salute goes through a bit of a wave. You'll get periods where it seems to be historical dominated, then you get a lot of weird shit and fantasy stuff. This year it felt like it was a fairly even balance between the two. A lot of games, but it felt like there wasn't, what can I say, there were a number of absolutely cracking looking games, but there were more participation games, I think, than demonstration games. And the demonstration ones tend to be the very much more grand looking, because they're designed for people just to look at, whereas the participation games, put my teeth in, a bit more sort of get involved. And there were still some very impressive looking games, but a lot of them seemed to be participation, which is great. And I think if you personally didn't have time to play any games, I went along with my mate Nick, and he disappeared off to play GDA2 with Chris Brown, and had a whale of a time. Had a great time playing refighting Austerlitz, I think it was they were fighting. You know, there were lots of other people playing games. So I just didn't have time. I was there from 9 o'clock in the morning, and I left at about just after 5. I know I did have a couple of hours in the middle of the day, having a couple of snifters to keep me going, but on the whole I was there pretty much all day, and I didn't have time to play any games, which was a shame, because there were some really, really good ones, and I'll try and pick up a few of those. But there's been a lot of excellent videos talking or showing off the games that were there. So overall, fantastic show, really well organised, really well done. If you are in the UK and you get a chance to go to it, go to Salute. If you went this year, let me know in the comments down below. What did you think? Did you think it was the best one ever? I'm kind of thinking in the modern era, yeah, I think it was. Certainly since it's been in Excel, I think that was the best one. Salute 52, I think, was definitely the best one. So if you were there and you think so, let me know. If you think I'm talking out my what's it, as usual, then let me know as well down below. What do you enjoy most about the show? I just love the buzz. I just love the buzz. Meeting people, chatting away, talking rubbish for a whole day about the hobby we love. What do you want? Anyway, let's have a look at some of my haul, and then I've took some footage of the show. We'll see how that comes out. I was using a new camera, so we'll see how that works out, and some of the stalls. But anyway, thanks for watching. and let's have a look at the haul. Right, let's have a look at what I picked up at Salute then, shall we? So, I didn't think I did too badly. I mean, considering I went with no list at all of things I really wanted, and I was trying to keep it to a minimum, I think I did okay. It looks worse than it is, if I'm honest. So, let's start. You get your Salute dice, which is brilliant. Wonder how that rolls. Oh, a 6. We'll take that. 6 followed by a 1. Okay, it's going to be extremes. This was the figure for this year. A British Napoleonic officer from 1815 by the look of it. Lovely model, actually. I look forward to, he'll join my army. It's going to look forward to painting him up. Also a Salute dice mat from Deep Cut Studios. Very good. Those were all freebies, obviously. In the goodie bag was, it's a quar, a sprue of quars. My favourite idea. I don't know what this one is. Oh, it's a big dwarf. Yeah, a big dwarf. Don't know what he's going to do. He might be enlisted by somebody else. Also, a sprue of Blue Moon Royal Personality. Looks like English Civil War. Oh yeah, English Civil War, 30-year war officers. Now they are really nice. They're a little bit large for my epic, but I will be fitting them in there. Also, this is a rather nice 3D printed figure from 1918 Miniatures. At some point, I'm planning to do something, either World War One or, in fact, I got 2 of them. It's a German rifleman. 1918 war at some point, but I'm thinking I may actually just mog that into Russian Civil War, because that's a period I'm quite fascinated by. Also, where do we go next? Oops. Some paints. We all need some paints from time to time. I was there with my mate Nick, and he was much more organised than me. He had a list of the paints he needed. I just sort of went on a bit of a whim, but that's a light flesh from Vallejo, a medium flesh from Vallejo, which I use a lot of. That's Deck Tan, which again is a useful colour for me. A flat blue, because I'm running out of blue, must be painting too many French. And a white grey, which is a colour I haven't used, but I think for a sort of off-white that will go very nicely. So there's some paints picked up. Probably now find out all the ones I should have got. Purchase-wise, I picked up, this is the Renedra log cabin model. It was only £10. I've got lots of buildings of various descriptions, but I think some more that would fit quite well in North America would be kind of useful. And a tenner, I thought you can't go wrong. I also picked up, whoops, reach around the camera. Also picked up the new Renedra windmill, which was on special offer. I think it was 20 quid while we were there for the show. So, yeah. That's really cool. I went to the guy who always sells off Perry figures amongst everything else and picked up the European Saka on a naval carriage with Japanese crew and 2 large mantles. Now this hasn't been available on the Perry website, but I picked it up at the show, so that's good. And also a bit more artillery for my Ottomans. I picked up some field pieces and mobile horse artillery crew and mobile artillery crew loading. So yeah, a bit more for the Ottomans, because I realised I've got a few guns to do, but I haven't done that many yet, and I probably need a few more. Also went along to Giants and Miniatures, and they had these special one-off figures. These are the ones that they do from time to time. That once they're done, they're done. They do how many copies of them? 500 of these models, and once they're finished, they're finished. I got a few of these. I don't know why I bother, because they're not particularly sensational, some of them, but some of them are lovely. So this one is supposed to be Achilles. A rather caricature version of Achilles, maybe. Yeah, there we go. So, how big is he, though? Wow, how big is he? Might be a bit too large, but I guess he could be a hero in something like Midgard or something like that. Patroclusus, who's an archer. There you go. I mean, anybody who's fired a bow will know if you try to fire it like that, you're in serious trouble. But there you go. So that was their packs 23 of 500. There you go. So that's fun. And then the other purchase from the day was this book, which I've not seen before. This is 1808, The Last Summer. Scenarios for Wargaming, the Swedish versus Russian Wars of 1808, 1809. Now, people who follow the channel know I'm a bit obsessed with the Swedish Army and Napoleonic Wars. And I saw this, well, in fact, my mate Nick saw this and said, you must get this. And I duly did. Probably something to do with the 4 pints I'd had at lunchtime. But it does look good. Does look good. And I could roll out my Russians against my Swedes to play some of these scenarios. So that's kind of fun. Now, also, a couple of pre-orders I picked up at the show. So first up, this is from Eureka Games. So in here we have some 28mm Japanese figures. I've got some hooded Ronin warriors, both female and males, and some war monks. They look quite fun. They look quite fun indeed. Here we have some more, oops, can't really see them for the, there we go, some more Japanese. Those look like they may well be the, oh, they're the warrior monks. Yeah, they look nice. All sorts of juicy weaponry. And then this guy, I don't know why I got this one, but he's he'll join one of my Dark Age armies. He's a Great Thane. Just looks like a serious hard case, which I quite like the look of when I saw him on the website. So that was just a couple of bits. Just if you need a couple of figures, you know, you want to buy a couple of figures and you don't want to have to spend ridiculous amounts on postage, always a good thing to pick them up at shows. And then War Bases set me up again with a massive bases. Now, one of the things I found rebasing my 15mm army is I'm cracking through, oops, excuse me, bashing the camera, I'm cracking through the 50 by 50s and the 40 by 40 scale bases. So I got a load more. I mean, jeez. This should keep me quiet for a week or two. So there you go, lots of goodies. So that was my haul at Salute. I thought quite restrained for me, not too bad at all. And I'm looking forward to working my way through some of these, particularly those Renedra buildings. They could be a lot of fun. So let's have a look at some of the shows. So I didn't film every single game. I tried to get around most of them, and I thought there was some really good participation games. Seem to be a lot of participation games this year, which is great. Also, the attendance, as I mentioned before, was huge. I was still walking around about 5 o'clock, filming bits, and you can see the footage on the footage here that you can tell the early footage and the late footage, because it was a very, very busy early on. Got a little bit quieter as the day went on, but still, usually after lunch, as you head towards closing time, Salute empties out and there's virtually nobody there, but I still saw people buying quite a lot of stuff quite late on in the day. And actually, a lot of the traders were saying they were still doing business until the very end, when the sort of bell went and everyone had to leave. So great for the hobby, and great to see Salute in such rude health this year. So anyway, let's have a look at some of the footage, and I'll whiz you around. I was trying out a new camera, so we'll see how this works.